let me tell you what my topic is. So if you have seen the agenda for today, so the topic that I'm going to explain you after this wonderful session like of Ravi. So as in this industry right now, we are jumping into a new era of ASP.NET Core Blazor. And from the past, whenever we are started working on a modern web application development, so NuGet Package Manager is doing such a wonderful job in terms of Microsoft technology stack. But if you came to the industry where all the modern application work I would say Angular, I would say React, or many others. So you have a beautiful library of npm packages, I would say. So in that npm packages, if you will come up to the browser, there will so many packages available for you just name it any other thing and you will find out at npm. So today my talk over it, like how you can basically use some open source or maybe some other npm packages directly into your Blazor application. So without wasting much time, so here I just created a basic application. It's a Blazor application using with Blazor Wasm. So if you need to create it, which is very simple, I hope you everybody knows about it because Ravi had told everything about Blazor, how you can get a start, what should be the project structure. Now the thing is came in like in my mind because we have so many already developed and supported by so many other communities, beautiful npm packages. So if we need to use some of them into my Blazor application, so can we do that? So the answer is yes, perfectly we can use it. So in Blazor, we can write anything that we want to write over the browser directly using C sharp. But if something comes to your mind, or some specific packages, if your customer or if your client need from you, like I need to use this calendar, I need to use this gug, I need to use this grid, which is already has been deployed with so many other project in their architecture and they are comfortable with it. So instead of wasting so much time into writing a new application or new code into your, I would say, into your C sharp or some other technologies, I would say you can directly use any other npm packages. So that was a challenge that I was facing in my previous project. So I would suggest you to do, you can directly use it. So how you can use it, there's so many blogs directly available. And I'm really inspired with the blog by Brian Lagunas, which is a very beautiful blog over there. So you can basically refer that also. But here I would show you how easily you can do that. So the first thing that you have to do, first you need to create a simple or a Blazor application, so which I created just for a demo over here. If I'll show you how it's look like, so I can show you it's a pretty simple empty application that come with a default template of counter. So you can just check it out how it's looking like. So this is simply a browser application which going to be open in this tab, and it will has all the default like counter or maybe the other tabs. So here it is. So as we have, this is a default application provided by our Blazor template. So I'm going to close this, and suppose I need to use some npm packages over here. So what the steps you have to follow? So the first step you have to follow, just go into your browser and find a sorry, not in browser, in your solution explorer, and find a location where you want to install and where you want to set up your npm package. So the first thing you should require, which is just an npm directory where you can deploy all your npm or maybe the node available. So I'm just going to create just a simple npm JS folder over here. You can simply name it as per standards of your project architecture. I just simply create it. So now what I want in this. So the first thing that I'm going to do with this directory, which is I'm going to set up my npm repository over here. So the first command that comes to set up an npm repository inside any other directory, which is npm init. So what we will do over here, we just need to go in my command prompt with a specific task. So I'm just going to open this path in my command prompt, and now simply I do that, just npm init hyphen y. So I'm just going to initialize first npm repository over here. So once I'll press enter, it will automatically install, and it will automatically create you can say the base for me where I can set up my all the npm packages. So as you can see on over my screen, here is a default here's a default package.json settings are there, like a package name maybe npm.js, the version and the description. You can edit them in your uh, file directly. So where it is, so if you come back to your Visual Studio, and if you will extend this particular folder, you will find this file over here. So so you do not have to change anything right now. I'll show you step by step everything. So once you do that, now the second thing came into this picture, which is we need someone who can bundle, or who can basically bind all the JavaScript files all together and can provide me a build file that I can directly use in my Blazor application. Because simply it's very simple, like any other npm package that we are going to use over here, they probably they might be written into TypeScript, they may be written into JavaScript, or some likely some other specific languages. So what you have to do, you need you can say any kind of bundler who can basically build all the things together for you and can provide you a build file for that. So as in this industry, there's a name that is we call Webpack, and Webpack is popular in this market to do this specific job. So what we have to do, we just need to install Webpack, and Webpack basically at the runtime, whenever this application will be executed over my browser, it will provide me a specific bundle for this. So what I can do, I can simply go back in my you can say command prompt with the same specific path of this repository folder. So I can come back here again, and I can just simply write npm install space webpack space webpack cli and save to the same dev environment. So once I'll press enter, you will see it will automatically install all the webpack dependencies, and this webpack dependency will help me out to to have a beautiful communication between my open source or maybe some other npm packages with my Blazor application. So once it will be done, we need to go again in my package.json, and we need to have some specification for this output file. So as you can see over my screen, so it already installed the Webpack version 5.10.0 and also the Webpack CLI 4.2.0. So now we are done with Webpack. We need to come back in my application, and simply we have to go into this package.json. And what we need to do over here right now, so as there is a section that is we call scripts. So any script that you need to define, any script that you want to be executed whenever your application going to be execute, so you need to simply you need to specify over here. So what I did, so if I can show you, I hope my fonts are visible, properly visible to you. Let me explain you what I did over here. So I just mentioned a tag which is build over here. So once we will be writing a command which is just a build, so on the build a specific command, what it will do, it will enable Webpack, and Webpack will find this particular file as in my business logic, and it will bind that particular file as an output bundle, and the output path will be over here. So as we know, in ASP.NET Core Architecture, we have a folder over here which is www root, and here we will have our output file, which is right now, which is not over here. But whenever we will be defining this command build, it will generate an output file named as index.bundle.js. From where? From this specific path. So that means we should be required this particular file at this particular folder to be placed, so that it can go there, it can find out all the logic from this specific path and can generate an output for this name at this specific location. So let me do it. So once I'll do that, let's just save this, and after this we need to go in my application in the same folder in npm.js. I'll do that, right click, add a new folder over here simply named as src, as I mentioned in my script, src. So simply I just put it for source code, and from this source code it will going to find an index.js file. So let me do that again. So add new item. So in the new item tab, you can simply go into search box, and you can find JavaScript files. So once you'll do that, you just simply name it index and press enter, it will save a index.js file in my src file. So that is going to be my logic file, where I can even write some js interop options if I want to call in future, like I want to execute some or js functions directly from my c sharp code. So even we can use this file for these kind of stuff. So let me close this and let me come back in my a command prompt. Now I am done with everything that I require to set up an environment. So what I'm going to do in the next step, so the next step will be find a specific npm package which you want to use in your application. So I have a beautiful package along with me here. I can show you, which is a web component by Infragistics. So just for a demo, just a specific demo, I'm going to use this particular Guke just to showing some kind of you can say some kind of meter information, some kind of you can say some kind of like you can say percentage maybe, or maybe some kind of you can say suppose there is a beautiful chart comes to the Google whenever we have some elections. So like for different two parties, how many number of seats they have. So these kind of stuff you can use this particular. So Infrastatistics has beautifully designed this. So I'm going to use the same web component. You can use Infrastatistics official document for this specific, or maybe some other beautiful charts, grid, or whatever you want to use. But right now, I have simply a command to show you so that we can simply install it as an npm package in this specific directory or the location that we have generated recently. So I simply just write it npm install ignite ui web components core. From there, what I want to use, I just simply want to use ignite ui web components, which is a Q. Just that's it. So once I'll do that, it will load all its dependencies, and it will create a node modules which is already in my application. Once I did that npmi, so it will automatically install all its dependency from directly from Infragistics CDN to your computer. So like it's done, and it's added 3 packages. So once you will be done with it, now what we want some kind of a script that can be imported, and that can be used to import its dependency directly from this npm package. It's quite you can say quite a good script. So sorry, I just click on my Teams tab. Okay, so let it be closed. So here we can come into this index.js file, and you need simply a script. As we know, if we are going to use any other um, npm package, so it has some default classes to be imported in your application, and from there you can just instantiate them into your application. So simply I imported my module manager igc. It stands for Infragistics web components, all the modules from the specific locations. You will find this script simply over Infragistics website in official documents. And not even this, you can use any other or you can say npm application, npm package directly in your application, simply using the same stuff that I'm going to show you. So once you will do that, it will load all the dependency at runtime in your application. Now what you want just simply a code. So for that code, you can either you can simply visit the official document, like how it's look like. As you can see, this was the code, and this is just a code that you need to show this kind of animations or the screens at your Blazor application if you want to show them. So I have a file here where I want to use. So now you have two options. First, either you can create a new Blazor component, or you can specify the Gug over there. Or if you don't want to create a new you can say Blazor component, what you can do, you can use any other existing Blazor components from there. So like we have an index, which is a first page. So if I'll go and if I'll edit, so here is a survey prompt title. So I can replace this with my Gug code. So simply I just put it this Gug, which is simply just which is just having an ID and height width, a simple value, a default value 25. You can increase it according to your condition. Suppose I let me made it 32. So simply you can do that. What will be the time interval in this specific animation? So it can define by 5 or any other specific number. So here is a meter value. So what values you want to print at this particular queue. So I just put it 0 as a minimum value and 100 as a maximum value. So there is a color range. So what will be the color range? So I provided three colors of over here, like as you can see, red, yellow, and green. And for there, I set it their starting point and their ending point. So this starting point and ending point comes into this minimum and the maximum range. So from 0 to 30 it should be red, 30 to 60 it should be yellow. So similarly you can use any other components if you want to check out or if you want to run them. So simply I just did it. So now what you have to do before running this application, see, we are done with almost everything. Now what we require, so first thing, as I told you, we cannot directly use this package. We cannot directly use this package from, if I'll show you from here, if I'll show you all the hidden files. So we have all the node modules over here. So directly we have all the capability over here for Ignite, but we cannot, here you can see. But if you want, so you cannot directly use it. So what we want to build this application first, so that my Webpack, which I installed in my application just a few minutes back. So what I can do, I can ask my Webpack, like Webpack came into this screen, build all the JS file available in my node modules, which is required to be used in my application, and generate and build output. So I can request to my Webpack. So for that, at the same specific where my Webpack has been installed on the same folder, I can simply write npm and run the build command. And you know that we have specified this build command. Let me press enter. It will take a few seconds to build that output. So once you'll do that, and you know that, like in your package.json, you have specified whenever you will run this command, build command, your Webpack will get this file, and this file was here, this file, and it will bundle it, and it will generate a build output for it with a named index.bundle.js at this specific output. So let me come back to my screen, to my command prompt, and once it will be done, you will find this specific file to be there at that place which you have mentioned. So as you can see, with some warnings, maybe the warning as I'm using the updated one. So if I'll go here, so into the JS folder, see what we did. So this is the same build file, which is generated by my Webpack. If you will open it, you will see it's a minified file without wasting any such number of lines, number of spaces. It's a very lightweighted build file that has to be deployed on my server while we are going to deploy this application. So this generated this output file. Now, so this was the first step before running this sample. So this was the first step, and now we are good to go, and we can directly run this application. But before that, what we want, whenever my customer uh, will load this page or make a request to my server to execute this page, we require some kind of pre-built command so that they can check its dependency, and it can generate, if it's a first request, so it can generate its build file. So like if you will run this file right now, if let me try, if we are going to run this file right now, so what could be the output? Excuse me. So we can wait for a while. It's the first time it's loading my application. So once it will be done, so here we are at my first page here, but you are not going to check, you are not going to have any output over here. So what things we have to do? Simply we have to do two things. First thing we are missing, which is importing my index JS file into this reference, which we should do before running my application. And the second thing, let me do that first. Here in my CSPROJ file of this project, we can set a target. We can set a target on its pre-built. So whenever this project going to be built, I have just pasted this code over here. You have to write it. If you want, you can take a snapshot or whatever, you can take a note of it. So what we want to execute two commands. So the first command that we want, so the first command, which is npm install, so that if it's a first request of this project, so it can check whether all the dependencies are there into this npm.js folder or not. If not, so it can basically install them. Or if it's already done, so it can jump to the next command, which is npm run build. It's a generate a build for that, and you know that what will happen on this build command. It will generate, it will call the webpack, and webpack build all the bundles together, and it will generate an output file into my triple W root folder, and at the hierarchy of it in the JS folder, index.build.js. So it will generate all these files there. So let me save this file. Let me come back. So this was not reason right now. So the reason was we have to import, this bundle file. Which bundle file? The bundle file that we have generated over here. We need to import this bundle file here in my HTML file. So this index.html, as Ravi in my last session, in the last session already shows you, like this will be the final body that has to be rendered over the client browser, and here will be your components will be loading as per their navigation request. So just after this Blazor WebAssembly script, you need to put that reference from JS folder. It need to be load this index.bundle.js. So once it will be done, so I hope we are good to go. And if I run this application, so as per my expectation, there should be some output. Let's hold for a while. So I run my application. It must be run npm install, as you can see here. And again, after npm install, it's generated npm build. So you can see, you can check out the output command. It's called the npm build, and in the npm build, it's called webpack, and webpack found this particular file, and it generated an output over there. And after that, that file must be loaded here at my index page. So once everything will be done and it will be ready to load my page, you will have its output in the current browser. So it's going to be load, and are we okay? Let me check out where we are. Let me check out if it's working. Yes, it's perfectly working. And if you can see here, it's simply showing you the value that you have put it over here, and that was simply 32. So as you can see here, it's just showing you the current output of our application, and this is an output that we built. So we refresh the last one, and this is the new one. So you can see it's beautifully working. There is no challenges, and it was just an open source npm package that was available. We just imported it in my application, and we just use it. Now there is a bonus point for this particular session. We just use this particular npm package in my application, but what if we need to communicate with this package, because it's an open source npm package, and it might be written into javascript, and we are writing my code, my business logic over here in this application into C#. So what if I need to communicate, what if this value should be changed as per some database request, what if we have to call some runtime event, and they need to execute some code to update its value. So if you have these kind of questions, so this is a bonus point for this particular session. What we can do that we can have a communication between this GUI and my C# code. So for that, let me come up over here, and we can define some you can say buttons over there. Simply we can call some C# code on that button click, and that event can directly call some JavaScript function. So here we can establish a connection, which is JS interop, which is you can say by default available in all type of Blazor application. So what we should do, so making a JS interop connection in this application, so first thing that we required, we need to import its dependency. import depend we So now I'm going to importing a dependency for JS runtime. So simply you have to inject a dependency, and you don't have to worry about its instance, because as you have mentioned over here, inject. So the default dependency injection architecture of this Blazor application will get you an instance for this runtime environment of JavaScript by default, as with this variable instance variable. So you don't have to worry about it, you will get it by default. So now the next step should be, we should require some button, and we should require some code where we can write it. So as it's a default component, so we didn't divided this component into, you can say, the code behind a strategy. It's an inline coding pattern by default, as Ravi already shows you how you can create your components. So I'm not going to show you that, but we can write my code directly over here in this application using the code tag. So we can use this to write my logic over here. But I would not suggest you to do the same thing for your real-time applications or maybe the enterprise applications, because your code can be a heavy code can be a larger code at the runtime. So I would suggest you to divide that code and into different parts, so you can read my own blog for that, like how you can divide your business logic from your razor components, which is simply will give you multiple ways to do that. You can say code behind, you can say the oops strategies, that is we call abstraction, anything you can use it. Okay, so we can use this code tag to call some JavaScript functions, but before that we need to place some button on the button click where we can find out or where we can call some specific button. So let me create a button over here. So just after this go over my HTML page, on the razor page I would say, so I just put it a button, and on this specific button on click event I just call a property which is on click. So this on click should be a function in this code attribute which is hasn't been defined yet, but I'll do that. So I just put it a button, and on this button click I will call this specific button click. So you can create a button click like simply void on click. If I'll say, like, what you can do, you can simply write void and on click, and this error will go on, because this handler requires a function to be loaded, which we have just recently defined. So we will call this specific button, but not right now. And I would say if you can assign async behavior to this particular button, so that we can call asynchronously all my other functions that we are going to writing over here. So simply what we require now, we require a function who can find this control from this particular DOM element with this particular id rg, and can set its value dynamically that you will provide over here. So for that you can simply place some sliders over here, you can place some text box, any other input value, any other input provider, that's completely based upon you, what you want. But I would say we require this function first, so let me write a function for it. So now where this function should be, as I mentioned earlier, we have this file where we can write all my business logic. So this is a file index.js, and my webpack will automatically render it as a bundle and will do the required or the needful. So I just mentioned a event over here which is simply windows.update. So whenever my windows will be in its update mode, it will just directly call this anonymous function with a specific value that will be provided by my event handler. So whenever this function will be called, so simply we can call this particular rg, and what is it rg will contain in the at the runtime. So using the javascript element that is we call document, and from this document we will find an event with this particular id which is rg. As I shows you, we have a control with an id property as rg, and we need to change its id, so which is containing 32 right now. So I will set it rg dot value. The value will be provided by the customer or maybe the user. So this is just an update value function, and when this update value function will be called, so we have to call this update function over here in this particular. So if I want to write it and if I want to call this function, so I would say we can simply make this function asynchronous, and we can use this JS runtime variable to call this anonymous function, or maybe I would not say anonymous because it's having a name. So update value, so it will call this update value function. An update value function has a reference of that particular function that I shows you. So with a parameter, and the parameter value is just a 60, or you can change it if you have some input control over here, like likely you have some text boxes, you have some sliders over here. So what you can do, you can simply get their values from them, and you can just pass that value directly over here. So this is simply how you can do that. So now on this async function, it will use this JS runtime. As I tell you in the beginning, you don't have to worry about the instance. Our Blazor dependency injection container DIC will provide it, and we have a predefined function over here that is we call invoke void async. Why void? Because it doesn't returning anything, it's just assigning some property. So what function should be? It should be update value. So if I'm not wrong, let me build my application again. I hope I did everything that which is required. And once this after build, or we can run this application. Just let me run this application. So whenever it will be done, we can come back to my browser, and once it will be done with the build process, so it will going to show me a button over here. I hope my system is taking much time than it's required, so you don't have to worry about it. It may be I have some updates or Windows updates to be installed, that's why my system is taking bit time. So once it will be done, we will be ready to launch it. Yes, build succeeded. And if you want to try this out, so let me run this application, and either you can just open it or you can go back to the previous one and you can use that. Meanwhile, it's loading. So this was from me, and yes, here it is. So we have this beautiful gig which is already there with the default value 32, and we had tried some, you can say, some sort of code that this button click event can change its value. So let me just do that. 1 2 3, and it's click. So let's say you can see here, on just a button click is change its gig value. So simply on your Blazor events, you can call some kind of JavaScript functions, and you can simply use your other npm JS packages. So simply it was just how you can use your any other NuGet package manager. You can say it's a node package manager every time, because we are more familiar with NuGet package. So every time npm, I just call it NuGet. So excuse me for that. So it's a any other node package manager if you have, so you can just directly call from there, and you can use any other open source libraries from there, simply like this. So I would say this was from my side. And before wrapping this session, I would just let you know, if you want to check out any other components by Infragistics, you can simply visit Infragistics, and they have beautiful controls for you can say for Blazor, for Angular, for any other application that you want to use, with a beautiful support, with the priority support 24/7. So you can just visit out. Now it's up to the host. I would say let me stop sharing my screen, and I'm open for the questions. If you have any other questions, so you can simply go there and you can ask me. So let me stop sharing my screen.